only 40 seconds. I've been out here trying to improve my dive time, but I haven't been making any progress. At home, I can hold my breath for 2 minutes, but out here, the time drops significantly. The only thing I can really do is just keep practicing to get my time up. My name is Johnny Ashkar, and I'm an aspiring freediver. Growing up along the California coast, I've always felt at home in the ocean. But in order to explore what's underneath the surface, I need to improve my dive time and depth. I see sea lions diving down effortlessly for much longer than myself. They're mammals like you and I, so what's their secret? So I did some research yesterday, and I found out that marine mammals, such as dolphins, sea otters, and whales, are some of the most impressive creatures on this planet. But there's one in particular that really got my attention: northern elephant seals. They're some of the deepest divers, and every year they travel thousands of miles in their migration. Lucky for me, they're back from their migration and they're resting just north of here along the California coast. I gotta see these guys for myself and hopefully talk to some experts who will give me some answers. Finally, I hit my destination. I'm here at Piedras Blancas Elephant Seal Rookery, and I'm jazzed to be here. I've heard that thousands of elephant seals come to this particular beach at around this time of year. Honestly, I can look at these animals all day. But I've heard that there are some docents here with a ton of information about these creatures. And I think I see my man over there with the answers I need. Phil? Yeah. Johnny, pleasure to meet you.
Pleased to meet you.
I want some questions answered about these animals.
Okay.
Is it possible, as a free diver, would I be able to dive with these animals?
No.
No, not at all.
No, they spend very, very little time near shore. And when they are at sea, they spend very little time near the surface.
How much time exactly?
They dive all the time when they're at sea. They never come ashore anyplace. And a typical dive for them is 20 or 30 minutes long and 1,000 or 2,000 feet down. And when they come to the surface, they only stay a couple of minutes and then go right back down again. So they're at sea 8 to 10 months of the year, and 90% of that time is underwater at depths greater than 1,000 feet.
What in their physiology has allowed them to stay under that long?
Yeah, and you would think one of the adaptations they would have to have would be have a huge lung capacity, and in fact they don't. Their lungs are no larger than a land mammal would be of their size, and the really interesting thing, they exhale before they dive.
Before? Okay.
Before they dive, so they don't have to defeat that big air sac. A couple of swipes with their rear flippers and they glide. So it's a very efficient way of moving. The way they're able to stay underwater so long is they've got about twice as much blood volume as a land mammal of their size, and also they have about 50% more hemoglobin, and that carries oxygen in your blood. They also have a lot of myoglobin in their muscle that stores oxygen.
Do you think that their nose has any part into play in that, or what is the deal with?
What is the big nose?
Yeah,
a lot of people want to know
are very
what
curious.
is the big
I
schnoz.
myself, yeah.
Basically, it helps the males intimidate other males. They rear up and they give that big vocal threat, and so that helps them intimidate other males. And so if they can use intimidation to establish a dominance here on the beach, rather than those knockdown, drag-out fights, they're going to be more successful in the long run at mating. And so there's a trait that's going to get handed down, that big nose. By the way, that big vocal threat, a lot of people say it sounds like an out-of-tune Harley idling in the gym. Or my favorite analogy is a flatulent tuba. It's a very unique sound.
Yeah, I've heard it before.
Sure.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
So I made it here at Año Nuevo State Park. I'm here to talk to Patrick Robinson, one of the head researchers on elephant seals here at the park. Hey, Johnny, pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So I'm an amateur diver, and I've been driving up the coast looking for people to talk to in regards to elephant seals and their phenomenal ability to dive. What can I take from their behavior and incorporate into my own so that I can increase my diving depth and duration?
So probably the biggest things are things that you can't change about yourself, unfortunately. But they do have some tricks up their sleeves that you could probably mimic. So one of which is to basically streamline their bodies as much as possible and to reduce the total number of flipper strokes. Basically, every time that they stroke their flipper, they're using energy. So if they can reduce that while still maintaining the same speeds, then they're saving energy. They also are we sort of joke that they're just in one gear. So by not rapidly changing direction or speed, just kind of going slow and steady, they're able to just be very efficient. They also reduce their heart rate quite a bit while diving. As soon as you increase your heart rate, you're pushing oxygen-rich blood to other parts of your body, and those other parts of your body will utilize oxygen. So if you can slow down that heart rate and slow down the blood flow to your extremities, then you'll end up conserving oxygen. That will only work so much, though. It's really the physiological tricks they have that allow them to dive for an hour or two in some cases.
Yeah, I won't be able to emulate them exactly, but any help I can get. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for the information and the answers. Really appreciate it. I'm here at Marina del Rey with Captain Brian. So Brian, I've been up and down the coast talking to different experts and docents. So now I want to talk to you about how I can stay streamlined and more efficient in my diving techniques. I feel like I exert a lot of energy going down to the bottom, and what are some ways that I can work on that?
Sure. Being weighted properly is probably the single most important thing you can do as a freediver. Again, typically, if you have 10% of your body weight in additional weight in the form of a weight belt, that'll get you to the point where you'll still have to kick down the first 15 feet, but you have to remember to be relaxed and don't rush yourself. And eventually you'll sink down to 15 feet. And then approximately from 15 feet, you pretty much don't have to do anything. You'll just gently sink. So be patient and again, try to stay very relaxed. And the fact that you're weighted properly, that's the buoyancy that you're looking for.
Now, when I was in Piedras Blancas elephant seal rookery, I was talking to a docent there about the kicking methods that elephant seals have. And what would you recommend for me for when I'm freediving?
Okay, Johnny, what I would recommend is a slow scissor kick. And it can actually be almost a delayed kick. So as a scissor motion, do one move and hold and glide, and then do another move, hold and glide. And that's very efficient, very good at conserving energy. Another kick would be a dolphin kick, where pretty much you're with both feet or legs at the same time. And the same thing, one kick and hold it, another kick and hold it. And you'd be surprised how quickly you can get places and how efficient and energy saving it can actually be.
So you're going to take me out to a spot in Malibu so I can practice my freediving and get better. What do you have in store for me?
Well, John, I think we should have a great day today. The weather is fantastic. The ocean's nice and flat. This spot is about 25 minutes from where we're located here in Marina del Rey. If we're lucky, we'll see a lot of marine life, possibly some seals, some dolphins, some fish. And we're actually going to an area that we're looking for large kelp patties, which is like an underground forest with a rock structure. And I would anticipate by the end of the day, I'm sure you'll have improved and be having great fun at it.
Well, I'm stoked to have such an experienced captain with me.
Thank you.
And let's
Great.
do this.
Let's do it.
So when you're freediving, what do you think about to relax your heart rate?
Actually, you kind of want to think about everything but holding your breath. A lot of times I think about playing music, strumming the guitar, and again, almost going into like a trance state where I feel like I'm almost semi-asleep. But the idea is to try to think about anything but the fact that you're holding your breath.
So, Captain Brian, I take it you're not going with me on this dive.
Not this particular dive, but you'll have a safety diver with you.
All right.
As you know, there's been some of the most famous freedivers, believe it or not, have actually died swimming in their own swimming pool. You know, you're familiar with shallow water blackout. It's extremely dangerous. It can happen at any time, even in a short breath hold or long breath hold in shallow water or deep water. So it's very important always to have someone in the water with you, keeping an eye on you. So we will have someone in there watching after you.
So rule number 1 in free diving is always have a partner with you, watching your back. So we're in Kelp City right now. As you can see, it's really cold, but it's gonna be a great dive.
By remaining calm and using the techniques I just learned, my dive time and depth today were better than ever. My curiosity about marine mammals sparked this unlikely journey up and down the coast. Learning about the incredible diving abilities of elephant seals has given me new insight on my own diving practice. It's amazing how a deeper appreciation for the natural world can lead you to your own self-discovery.